Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Let me just check we're on. Yep, we are. All right, here we are. I'm assuming you can hear me. If not, read my lips. Okay, can be one of those days, is it? Is it? I don't know. Been a strange one so far. Not good, not bad. Different. How about that? Different. Where is everyone? Where is everyone? Me? You're still in bed? Oh, no, it's not morning for you, most of you. Australians, you're all still in bed, surely, unless you're on night shift. All right. So let me just, I don't need that up, do I? Let's get rid of that. Let's get the restream up so I can see who's talking to me. And there we go. All right. Did you see the moon last night? I didn't. I saw it the night before, 3 o'clock, 3:30. I was thinking it was 3:33. I'm just going to say it was 3:33. It was like 3:32 or 3:34. So surely I was there at 3:33 at some point, because I didn't just go and then go back to sleep. Anyway, but last night I got up. Well, I looked for her and there was so much cloud. And then we looked for when she was at 100%, which was this morning at like 8 o'clock. Bizarrely. Anyway, couldn't see her. So saw her the night before. I thought it was morning. I thought it was the morning. I woke up and thought, what time is it? And I got up and it was like so bright because there's windows just on all around this house. It's just windows. And I was like, no, it's the moon. So, all righty. Tap dancing till we get some of you here. Did you put your jewelry out? Did you bury it? Did you do crystals? Did you do selenite? Did you have your little container of stuff? Put it out there. All righty. Welcome. I took an early morning hike. Okay. So forming between the red rocks. Nice. It's like there's no real point taking photos, is there? Like it's just never as magnificent. So I just don't. I just go and stand. But I do that all the time anyway, right? Even in the day when I see the moon, it's usually, sitting on the back veranda. But she moves like the sun, I guess. Or we move. We all move, we dance. All right. So we're here. This is the On Demand, Cynthia On Demand. What are we talking about today? Did you get an email from me? Some of you probably got many because I sent it to every email list I had and I got a lot, and you're probably on a bunch of them. So however many emails you got from me, that's how many email lists you're on. And I don't apologize for it because you signed up. However, I am going to roll them into one. I usually do that after a series and a challenge and all of that, because you're probably on the series and then you were probably on number 4, but you're on number 5, and then you're on the challenges, and then you're on the smaller groups and all the rest of it. So that's what happens, because I keep you all separate so that if I want to just talk to you, I will just talk to you. But then I forget. And I've been forgetting about all of these other people who signed up for things, and none of them have been getting the email. So I just went through and sent it to all, which takes time. Took a lot of my time. It's not that easy on the system I've got. So never fear. It rarely happens that way. Unless you're on the same email list, which I know somebody who actually lives in this house who is on my main email list multiple times under different emails. And I'm like, well, unsubscribe. You don't need to be on. Sometimes we check if things are working, right? And then, so unsubscribe. Anyway, hopefully you don't unsubscribe to the main one or you'll get nothing. But I will get onto that. So just let you know, if you did get, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 emails all the same, that's why. You're the most spectacular person that supports us well. There you go. So the more emails you got, the more love to you. Every email with love. Every email with love. All right. We are here for some serious business, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you've got spectacular moon photos. I must admit I have too, Deb, but not this time. Otherwise, it would have been spectacular glowing clouds photos. But they're good too. All right. Enough of my hammering on. We are going to, so yes, the reason you got, well, you would have got a couple of different emails actually, because I put one out, a general one, and then the one is that we are starting this program, right? So this is the on-demand that we're going to switch over shortly to the holistic mystic. I call it mastermind, but it's the membership, right? You pay monthly. Some of you have been with me since the start. Thank you very much. You probably got many emails. You know, lots of love to you. And if you got one, just a little bit of love, you know, get with the program. No, I'm joking. I'm okay. That's the energy. So I could tell by the, you know, when she was good, she was very, very good. When she was bad, she was horrid. You know, what's that? What a little girl's made of. What a little girl's made of. What a little boy's made of. But there was one with the curl in the forehead. Curl in the forehead. Look. With my Morticia grey streak. There you go. All right. Serious business here. Okay. Oh, I haven't recorded, so we were not serious until I record, and then see, now we're serious. So in the email, I was saying around what we're going to be doing in September, and then I figured out that it's probably going to be longer than September. We'll see how we go. But it's going to be a training, a little bit more structured, touching on the parts that I mentioned. So I will, oh, what's that? Okay, that's fine. It looked like a warning, but it's just a little shield telling me not much at all. We're talking about, so I've called this high frequency, low tone. What does that even mean, right? So those of you that I'm looking at, you know what that means because I've talked to you about it. But some of you that might watch this recording, or you might be watching on social media, on some other platform, you may be like, I have no idea. And you're not signed up to anything, so you don't get my emails. how many of you are sensitive? And I guess those that I'm looking at, I know you've got sensitivities because I know you, and we talk, and you turn up here and confide, share, you know, share the love. The last, how long? How long have I been talking about all the subliminal stress stuff's come back in? The last week or so, maybe 2 weeks, right? Probably 2 weeks, actually, because we did a training, a little bit of that last week. But it's coming in so strong in different ways, and ways that I may not have taught you before. Now, some of you that have trained in certain energy medicine may know parts of it, bits of it, right? A lot of it's ancient knowings, but it's also my lineage. Because if we're talking about magnetics and magnets and magnetic fields, my dad is the world expert. And I say that because who he worked with is long gone. Long gone, right? So he holds a lot of information. And obviously, being his daughter and epigenetically, right, energetically, psychically, you know, I want to make up a new word, transcends, not transcends, transcends information to me, right? Because so he would hate me saying any of this really, because he's pretty science background. But he's a medicine man. He hears how I hear. And I never knew. He never said a word. We call him Hush Harrison. There's a reason. Hush Harrison. Doesn't say a word. And it came out one year. And it's actually when I was learning magnetics through in Sydney. I was learning a particular way of working with magnets. Now, how that smacked me in the face. How it smacked me in the face, Rebel. I don't know if I've told you this story before. I don't know. I got a million stories. Who knows what I tell when. But I'm feeling this is new because it's come in a different way. So I'm walking into class and, you know, there's a bunch of people who like to be really, really early. So they're, you know, playing with magnets. I wasn't really early, but I wasn't late. And I walk in, and I walked in the doorway and I nearly passed out. And the instructor saw me and she came, she said, stay there. And she came and saw me. And we had a discussion about magnets and our fields. And right, so this all links. I'm going somewhere, but I'm telling you a story today. I'm feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. Well, I showed up and here your smiley faces and you make me serve, right? Don't make me serve. No, I see your faces and it all comes out. Yes, sir. Am I annoying you yet? Anyway, this is how my energy is today. We just gotta let it go. So she comes and she goes, what's going on? And I said, I walked in the room and some field hit me in the face. And we worked out what they were doing and what they would do. Oh, I don't have my kit here. Don't have my kit here. Where is it? Oh, I know where it is. I was working. Yeah, it's in the lounge room. All right. So I'll use my crystal necklace that I was cleansing in the moonlight. I just bought them in from outside, and they were twisting the magnet. Right. When you twist the magnet, when you spin, is what I'm saying. When you spin the magnet, there's a field. Depending how strong the magnet is, how big the field is. So when you're using them in a particular way, how they go, how that field goes into the body, how deep it goes into the body. And this is why I don't generally teach too much about magnets, because you got to know some stuff, right? In my opinion. So over September, starting in September, we are going to be going deep into this, where I'm going to teach you what I know, right, from my own lineage, from my own mystical, direct, phenomenal experience, what I get downloaded, and what other teachers have shown me and we've discussed. And I want to do a shout out, but for the life of me, I can see her when her name comes. I'll tell you who it was, because Deb will know her. I believe Deb will know her. Anyway, so magnetic fields impact us. They can heal us and they can harm us. I've told you that in passing, some of you. Why I battle on about sharing subliminal stress, the invisible shadow, is because the invisible shadow includes these fields that we can't see. Well, we can see them if we do experiments with, you know, iron filings, or, you know, the little ferrite in liquid and whatnot, right? Kids do these magnetic experiments that you can see the field because of where the liquid or the filings are, right? You've seen them, you can Google them. Maybe, in fact, not maybe, I will show you some of that and explain more about that. That is what we're going to go into in September. Okay. So those of you that are already, you know, with us and going along, you're already here. Those of you that are not, we're going through. So that email, hopefully those of you that are on the Zoom got the email, but it doesn't matter. I'll let you know. And you all have access to the portal too. So I'll be putting information in the portal, in the membership portal, when we get to that, right? So August, we're sort of setting it up, but in September into October, we'll see how, you know, it's going to be like starting in this space, right? What impacts our physical body that we can't see. And I'm going to say that is relatively real. Because, you know, it's relative reality. Like what is even real, right? What is here? What is not here? So these geo pollution, the EMFs, the, you know, the low frequencies, the, you know, it's more the low frequency. So I'm going to teach you all of that. I'm going to teach you more about the brainwave states, which are directly connected to your consciousnesses, like your states of consciousness, right? Where we generally sit in different work. And for those of you that are real nerdy, I can talk about that a little more. We'll see who shows up, right? What you're wanting. The main key is the practices and me helping you test that, where you're at, what your bodies need, right? That's the low tone. Most of you that are drawn to my energy are high frequency. You're like, oh, yes, and I see all this stuff and I feel it and I get information, and maybe not all of it, but some of you might see stuff occasionally or feel stuff occasionally or just get knowings or whatever. Some of you get all of it. Some of you are very mystically inclined. Some of you very intuitive. You've trained, you've practiced, you do your own meditation, whatever. But you're still sludging along in this dense reality. I don't know why I laugh at those particular points. It just brings me joy. It brings me joy. It's bizarre. You know what? Because somebody's got to talk about it. Somebody's got to talk about it. And we might as well be joyful about it. We're here. We're in this life, right? In this dense consciousness, right? And we're beyond that. And so really it's about the tone or the physicality and how you're moving through the world can be really challenging. Can be really challenging. I won't say can be. It is. I don't know. If there's somebody that doesn't have any challenges, I would like to meet you. Right? It doesn't mean that you're judging them as good or bad. It's just challenges. You know? By the way, Plumber's here again. Had a little chat with him. I did say, well, certain times, if he could be, you know, times to bang and times not to bang. And then in the end, I said, look, delete everything I just said. Just do what you do because it'll be fine. Like I was like, see that there's even that, like when you can see where your fears are, and most of you wouldn't have even seen that because it's like, it's not, see, fear isn't bad. It's just where you were trying to control something, right? And there are times for that, and you go, well, there's a fear there. All right, well, I can just be conscious of it and still control. You follow me? Or I can be unconscious and just be in it. And what we actually do is then manifest or create more of what, you know, we grow that fear. We grow that field. Do you know how you manifest? I'm sure you do. You've learnt something, but it'd be interesting. So pop in the chat. You can private chat me if you skip it. Like, have a think about it. And while I'm talking, if you can get a sense of what the key to manifesting something is, or creating or bringing something to you, is there a piece? Like, start thinking about that and put it in the chat. And it may take you a bit to type it, or you might just do a couple of words that are the key bits that you think, because that'll be interesting. So I'm not gonna talk about that until I see some things in the chat. And it's something I don't talk that often about, but is pretty much the most important thing around your spiritual development, your development as a human. Right. And it is, I'll give you a hint, it is an invisible force. So, all right, been going around and around and telling some stories. All right, so I'll go back to my story, right? When I walked into the room, she's spinning the magnet, and all the students were spinning their magnets, right? Some people are magnet sensitive, meaning the magnetic field makes them feel sick, weak, tired, even pass out. It disrupts their subtle energetic system. Okay. those of you that were here last week, I taught you earthing and grounding, or parts of that, yeah? Did we touch on the aura? I think we very gently touched on the aura, or that field. It's another invisible field, unless you can see energy, and then it's not visible anymore, invisible anymore. When we're stressed, when we have stress or shock, do you remember this from last week? When we get stressed or shocked, have a shock to the system, or a shock, like something's happened, we go, you know, or we go into shock. Shock can kill you. If you have an accident, there may not be any injuries, but you can go into shock, right? Shock can kill you. A lot of people die from shock. So there's, again, different degrees of that, how the body, I guess dance is the word. I've been dancing lately. I'm learning the Lindy Hop again. Does anyone know the Lindy Hop? I thought, I loved that years ago. I used to love it. I can do that. So me and Erica learning it off the TV, right? Off YouTube TV. No, it's not that easy. No. So I said to him last night, I said, we have to practice every day. And he's like, you know, he's feeling it. He was feeling a bit last. And I was like, no, but we have to practice every day. Even if you just watch what I'm doing or say it in your head, you need to practice, because if we want to do it, we can't just walk out and go, oh, yeah, we can do this in our 50s, right? So why am I telling you that? God only knows. It'll come back. It'll come back around. But your sensitivities, right? How your body responds to these invisible patterns, these invisible forces. So has anybody written in the chat yet? Come on. I can't see anything. Can't see anything. It's like there's not many of you that I'm looking at, so you can't sort of hide. All right. But think about it. All right. So I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to come back to your chat. I'm going to give you time to how you manifest. What's some key things. So I'm there at this place. I'm ultra sensitive. This is where phenomena was happening to me like nothing else. And I was sharing a room with a dear friend of mine, and she's actually the one who was told couldn't have children. And she had all this medical stuff done, you know, and they're saying, you know, you may not even be able to have kids through IVF. And anyway, so can't remember exactly, because it was a long time ago now. Years, probably, I don't know, maybe 8 years ago, 7 years ago. I don't know, long time ago. And I said to her, this is where I was doing medical intuitive work, right? For just, you know, not for payment or anything, right? Just, it was just coming to me, and, you know, information was coming and whatnot. And I said, would you like me to have a look? I'm doing this work. Tried to explain what it was. And I said, I just sit in the backyard under the tree, and this is what I do, and get information. She's like, yeah. And so I did that. And her womb told me what it needed. Her womb. It showed me exactly the place, right? Within, up, in. And I didn't understand some of it, but later on, I went and got my medical books and looked it up. Okay, there was anyway, I won't go into her stuff, but there was information. So doing that, and I asked, is it for me to work with? Right. I always ask, is it me? Do they need to go here, there, who do they need to, who can? So this is what's going on. Who do they need to support them with that work? Because it may not be me, right? And it was me. So I did what I was shown. And she had a baby. And recently I just saw, because she moved away and everything, we lost contact a little bit. She had a second baby. So what is it? What is it? What is the, I'm not saying I know, I can tell you what I feel, right? How do you discern what's true? Or is it true in the moment that medically what was showing in that tone was less likely to be able to carry a child? There was energy, there was stuff held. There's energy that needed attention, invisible charge, right? I guess somebody might be able to see it there. And that did link to work that she needed to do or be conscious of, right? So it's very close to trauma work. It's a different type of trauma work, but it was trauma work. We hold our charge of certain happenings in our body. And depending on where we hold it, it impacts us. Yeah. So anyway, it's interesting. She's come up again because she was, yeah, I'm going to have to reach out to her because she's come up a couple of times now in the last couple of days. So, and with somebody else that I need to contact. There's a lot of people popping up in my field lately that I haven't seen for a while. Some of them are, you know, are in the community, but they're sort of in the background and, you know, they come into my field and I'm like, you know, I used to always text or write when somebody came into my field. So there's a few people I've got to connect with like recently. So, all right, let me get back to, so the field, spinning the magnet, it impacts you. Many of you have sensitivities, right? So why does it impact? Because you're sensitive, right? You feel the change in the field, in your environment, and it impacts you. One of the reasons is because you don't have the protection, you don't have the, some call it the aura, right? The layers. Maybe you do, but some of those layers have holes or tears or they're full of toxins. There's information there that needs some contact. Or you've had an injury lately. Or even, and Deb will tell you, right? We can scan your field and pick up where you had an injury. Maybe when you were 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because it's held in the field. There's a process called ancient echoes. And I love that because this is how I always saw it. These ancient echoes, that these echoes of almost like the, I guess it's like the palm of your hand or the wrinkles on your face or how many gray hairs you've got, right? And gray hairs connected to kidney, life force energy, right? So we can navigate your field and find where stuff's happened, even if you don't recall it. And it would happen a lot. I don't question. I'll say, I feel something. I say, oh, there's something here. Have you had an injury here? And most people think recent. And I say, oh, no. It doesn't mean I question myself. I already know. The field's told me. There's a little echo there of something. I don't need to know what. We just correct it, right? Why do we ask questions? Why do you think I ask questions if I already know? Why do you think I bring you in sometimes? Sometimes I don't. Yeah. Think about that. Like, why if I already know, I'll say to you. So the client can feel the shift. Yeah. That's not incorrect. That's just another answer. That's not the one I was looking for, but it's correct. I guess they're going to feel it anyway, right? They're going to feel it anyway. Actually, not everybody does. There is some people, and some that might be watching this, that don't feel the shifts. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. It may mean they're not in connection with their body, and they're not in tune. They're not, as intimate with themselves, and that's a practice. And while we're still fighting or in real fear, yeah. Yes to that. I'll bring that in a minute. While we're still on alert, we're more out there, right? So, we rest and digest. So when we're calm, we can start to do those more, I was going to say more internal processes, but that's not quite right. It's like the intimate one, like to digest your food. So when you're stressed, all the blood goes to the extremities, it comes away from the stomach and the intestines and all that, right? Usually that's why they say when you're scared, whatness, right? You're scared. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, because your body just comes out. So you might wet yourself, or you might, what's a nice way of saying that? So, anyway, let's move on. You know what I'm talking about. So over the month of September, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to be going through particular processes. It will be like a course, right? Or like a challenge or a training, where we'll be doing a piece of the information and seeing where you're at and what you need as best we can in a small group, right? And learning first aid. And the reason I'm bringing it in, because it keeps coming in. It keeps coming in. I'm like, all right, I'm listening. What is it about this information? And I was shown so much, right? And so we're just going to be going through it. So today we're just, I'm just sort of touching on a few stories and telling you what sorts of things we can do. And yes, Rebel was saying the answer to that question. You see, oh, there's all these. I missed all these things in the chat. Yeah. So think or write down what I want, then forget about it. Yeah, that's the unreasonable dream, Lisa, huh? Remember the unreasonable dream? Yeah, that works too. Well, depending. So I'll answer the question that I put in there. I was told the same. I have 2 boys. Yeah, clarity, no doubt, no attachment. Yes, that's all part of it. Love the protocol so the client can feel it. To bring it into their consciousness. So when I saw people in clinic time, so they'd come to my clinic and, you know, if they had never worked with energy or whatever before, there was more touching, hands-on. I would hold the points, right? It was more around their acceptance of what was being done, for their ego to just relax. The less they needed that, I don't even need them in the room. Like, I don't even need to talk to you. In fact, a lady I used to work with years ago, so funny, all these people coming back in, sent me a message and was asking me about her granddaughter and could I work with her in another country? Right, of course I can. She's known me. No, she says, I know you're the real deal, because she's known me since 2000, right? 1999. She's known me. Yeah. And I was doing all the energy stuff then and teaching them. So right now there's this little one that, you know, doctors, medical people have said certain things, and she's saying, can you have a look? Yes, I can. She doesn't need to know. She trusts me. Her fear, her armor isn't in the way. We don't need to get through so much with that, right? Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm getting at? So occasionally it's nice to just, you know, or even for yourself, right? You do it all through the field or hands-on. Now, I'm going to say this and then move on because I can't stay too long this morning. The reason why, so this is what I was asking you earlier, why do some people manifest and some don't? Well, you all manifest, but most of you are manifesting what you fear rather than what you love. You're all doing it. So how do we really build, and there you go, build the force? It's a magnetic field. It's a magnetic pulse. And some of you, so when I wake up, if I don't just start doing stuff, sometimes I'll lay there and you feel the magnetic pulse, or in your meditations, you may feel this. It's that magnetic pulse. It builds a magnetic force. And the magnetic force is when you want something, or when you're, so most people, when they're manifesting, they're fishing, right? They throw the reel out, right? And they may catch something, but how many of you can pull it back into your life? It's almost like a slippery fish slips out of your hand, right? So something you've wanted comes in, but it's like, oh, out, it comes in, it goes out, or, right? So it might be an experience, it might be a thing, it might be money, it might be a relationship, it might, like, do you get what I mean? The magnetic force is what pulls it back into the field. The majority of humans don't have a strong magnetic force. Well, I shouldn't say majority. No. but we can have a look at that, right? It's a feeling. So going forward, this is what we're going to go into, because I've been shown that's what's needed. And I have direct experience of all of that. So going back, and we'll finish here and move on to the inner circle, but it's fairly simple to correct magnetic sensitivity. And once you've really got that set, it's rare that it'll go out again, in my opinion, but it can, right? That weekend that I was doing all that, because my dad lives in Sydney, in New South Wales as well. So the plumber's knocking, I can hear him. And I went to visit my dad, and he had all these magnets, big, huge, like he works with magnets. And he was going through something, and I said, you know, there are reasons I don't have time to go into, but I tested him too, and he was magnet sensitive. And so I corrected him. And look, I'll tell you in our private time more about that, because you know, I can't tell other people's stories too much, but you can support it. Now, if you tell me, oh, I can't sit on the computer too long because of this, that, or the other, or electronics, or all of that, right? Or, you know, there's all these sensitivities. Everything around you, not everything, all your electrical appliances and stuff, send off a field. Even your toaster, right? So if you are sensitive in the way that I've just described, then you're going to have some, you're going to have to be loving everything like nothing else. I love you, toaster. I love you. Right? I'm only part joking. Like, you can do that. But if you can't get there, then you can't. So this is why I was showing this, the other end, right? Once you feel strong, then you can neutralize anything. But while you're still sensitive, and if you're magnet sensitive, right, or if you're in shock, and you may not be magnet sensitive, but you may, your field may be challenged because of traumas, illness, shock that you've been going through, right? And so that field is, I'm just going to say corrupt, but it's, for want of a better word, what's another word for that? I guess, I don't want to say damaged either. Yeah, impaired. What are you saying, Lisa? Impaired, is that what you said? Impaired. I heard you. Right. Impaired. That's a better word, because we don't want to, you know, we don't want to scare. It's not like scare tactics. This is just information, so that if these things are going on for you, then there are really easy things that you could do about it. Okay. So this is what we're going to go through. So in wherever you're watching, there is a link there. And if you want to join us for September onwards, so those of you that are already in, disregard this because you're already in. So those of you that want to join from September onwards and go through the processes and learn about a whole bunch of stuff, like the strength and tenacity of the aura or your field, right? So if you're feeling vulnerable, or, you know, you get ill easily, you know, you tend to pick up everything, persistent pains, sensitive or oversensitive to environments or people, things like that. your field's not protecting you as well as it could, right? So there's detached aura, there's collapsed, there's the leaks, the holes, the tears, the toxins. So we're going to look at that, but we're also going to look at all the magnetivity, I was going to say. Is that even a word? The magnetic aspect, right? And also how you can use fields to heal. So if you're magnet sensitive, you shouldn't be using a magnet. And that's why I was really careful about talking about it too much. But I'm going to, for those of you that attend, I'm going to teach you so you know if you can use a magnet or you're best not to. If you're magnet sensitive, we were going to correct that together, right? And there are other tools that you can use instead of the magnet that don't impact so much. But we must test when we're bringing in, especially if you're a therapist or, you know, you use tools, you must test them against the person's field that you're working, because if they're that sensitive, those tools will impact them not in the way that you want. Even selenite, there are very few, there are less people sensitive to selenite. This is why often we'll use selenite. That's why I have selenite. There's not many tools that I use, but selenite is one of them, right? Because most people can handle selenite. If they can't, then we build their field so that they can. But there are people who are so, it's like they don't have skin. They're that sensitive. And I've been there. I've been there. And I know how to correct it. So I generally, what I teach, I understand from the inside out, because, you know, I've lived a life. All right. So that's what we're gonna look at, and more. So I'm gonna go over to the compromised. It said, yeah, compromised. That's a better word. Compromised. What was the other one I used, Lisa? Compromised and, yeah, anyway, corrupt. Let's just say how it is. It's corrupt. No. All right. So we'll leave it at that for the live, because I've got about half an hour before my next call, and I'll answer some questions. So if you're interested in coming over and read, I think I put the information. Yes, I did. I'm looking at it now. Did I put the link to the, oh, okay. I don't think I put the link to the mastermind, but oh yeah, on demand. So the paid mastermind, it's under paid mastermind. You got to scroll down a bit, but it's there. And you get access to the portal and all the teachings so far, which has been all year, but you get to be in this teaching where we're going to go deep into, and I'm going to be able to see where your energies are at, right? So that we can, as much as possible, give you what's going on for you in certain areas to support your health and wellness, right? So whether you're, you know, having all these awesome experiences, did you know, I'll end on this, did you know that if you're having uninvited psychic experiences, it often correlates to this as well? So when your field is weak or not protecting you, or able to filtrate both ways, then what you experience in other realms is more, but you're not in control of it. So If you're anything like me and you go, oh, but I don't want that to go away, so I'm not going to correct that. Know that when you correct it, you have that directorship when you want to open up, when you want to close down. When I want to feel what's going on for you, I'll say, I want to feel what's going on for you. And when I don't, I'm like, yeah, you can have your own aches, pains, illness, and whatnot. I don't need to feel it. But back in the day, I felt everything all the time and had no way of turning on and off. So what I'm going to teach you going into September, October, and, you know, we'll carry on as long as you wish, you need, will support that so that you still have access, right? Your psychic abilities, your connection with spirit, and you're embodied. Because what's happening is you're closer and closer to not being embodied. Your field is not protecting you, right? So all that shock, all that trauma, all that stuff going on in your world is separating. Do you remember the yin and yang, the separation of the positive, negative? It's the separation. And so the center, the essence goes back to spirit and the rest goes back to earth. That's death. So what we want is our polarity united. So you've got positive, negative, and neutral. You've got the three aspects, yin, yang, and that essence together. This is what we are. So that's what we'll be talking about. All right. Those of you on social media, so long, farewell, adieu, adieu, adieu. And I'll see you on Thursday. 2 p.m. Yeah, 2 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. And bring some questions. All right, much love. And sign up if you want to join us. Or send me a message if you've got any questions about it.